So you might think the US attack on the Houthis was a bit unnecessary and unprovoked, but it is very strategic. The Yemenite Houthis had warned Israel of shipping attacks if it did not lift the ban on aid to Gaza. But think about it. The reason to attack the Houthis was to secure a trade route and reduce Iranian influence in the region. Israel had all the reasons. The Houthis were targeting Israel shipments, and Israel is armed enough to carry out its own attacks, like it did in the past. So why did the US get involved, especially now? We'll tell you how these attacks could possibly play out in the favor of the US and what might be going on in Trump's mind. So here's the one thing that can be inferred from the US attack on the Houthis in Yemen. The US wants an escalation and further involvement, so that these strikes can pave the way for enormous financial gains and the US trade dominance over China. How? It is a known fact that the Yemenite Houthis sit on one of the most integral trade routes on Earth, called the Bab el-Mandeb Strait, which links the Suez Canal to the Arabian Sea. Not only does it account for 12% of the global trade, but it is also the gateway for Chinese goods in Europe. So when the US attacked the Yemenite Houthis, who are backed by Iran, there is only one certain outcome. That is retaliation. All Iranian-backed rebel groups always fight back. It may take a week, months or years, but they always put up a fight, and the US knows this. If you want, we can make another video about this. So when the Houthis retaliate, which is almost inevitable, the US will have a pretext to invade Yemen, a country already plagued in civil war, political turmoil, economic collapse, and a power vacuum. It is the poorest Arab country, and bringing down the Houthis won't be a difficult task. But there's one catch. The UAE and Saudi Arabia have been vying for power in Yemen because of its potential as an international trade and logistics hub. In fact, the UAE has already started taking control of ports in South Yemen and might oppose the US intervention. But Saudi Arabia is a different story. Saudi Arabia will most likely support the US invasion to secure a spot for itself and keep it out of the reach from Iran and UAE, its regional rivals. If the US invades Yemen to secure peace, install its puppet leaders, and rid the people of Houthi terrorists, it will gain direct control over trade passing through the Suez Canal. But one question remains: how can we infer that this is the US plan? Here's an update from last week that offers better context. The US wants to reclaim Panama Gateway, which, no surprise, is another important global shipping route.
Yeah. We're doing the entire world a favor by getting rid of these guys and their ability to strike global shipping. That's the mission here, and it will continue until that's carried out.
Remember when in 2021 the Ever Given ship got stuck in the Suez Canal and the global trade was severely impacted? It all is one thing, that these choke points control the flow of global trade, and China is the king of trade. And guess what? 60% of Chinese goods to Europe pass through the Suez Canal. Whoever controls the gate controls who passes through it, and the US is eyeing for choke points. Therefore, this possibly could be trade war phase 2.